Hillary Clinton just walked to the podium in Coral Springs, Florida. Let's go there live. We're told she's going to directly address Mr. Trump's Twitter tirade. Let's take a listen in.
Today's event. And I've got to recognize Joshua Simmons, who just introduced me. He is a civics teacher at Pompano Beach Middle School, and boy, are his students lucky to have him and his enthusiasm. And I want to also commend him for talking about his mother and how hard she worked, and his sister, who he helped to raise. We really are stronger together, and that starts in families and neighborhoods and communities. Well, you heard from a lot of my friends who represent you, starting with my great friend and former colleague, your Senator Bill Nelson. And I am looking forward to working with Bill as we make sure to continue the progress that will move us all forward together. And I sure hope Florida sends some reinforcements to the Senate and elect Congressman Patrick Murphy. I think Florida deserves a full-time senator, don't you? And I want to thank my friend, someone who has just worked her heart out, not just for her constituents, but for Democrats across America, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And another great friend of mine, going back more years than we care to remember, I'm so pleased he's here with us, Congressman Alcee Hastings. And I know that Congressman Ted Deutsch, who represents this district, is over in Israel for the funeral of a great, great man, Shimon Peres. And I want to thank Ted for all of his support and his hard work. You know, before I get started and really talk about everything that's at stake and what we have to do the next 39 days to make sure we win this election, I wanted to say a few words about the tragic passing of Jose Fernandez. You know, when he left Cuba, he did not speak a word of English. He didn't let that stop him. He pursued his dreams. He wanted to, and he became one of the best baseball players that Miami has ever seen. And he never forgot where he came from. He worked hard to give back to the community that had given so much to him. Jose's life really embodied the American dream, and at 24 years of age, he was just getting started. I'm sure you join me in saying that our thoughts and our prayers are with his family, with his fans, and everyone whose life he touched during his extraordinary career. I also want to mention another resident of Coral Springs, and that's a man named Bob Levinson. My heart goes out to Bob's family. He disappeared in Iran more than 9 years ago, and it is long past time for the Iranian regime to provide us information about his whereabouts and let him return home to his family. Now, did any of you see the debate the other night? Well, I think it was pretty clear there are two very different choices for our country based on two very different visions of the kind of America that we want to have. You know, my view is we are already great, And if we work together, we will become even greater in the years ahead. I believe America is an exceptional nation. My opponent believes America is in decline. I've never heard such a dark and divisive, terrible image of our country coming from someone running to be president of the United States. When he talks, I lots of times don't even recognize the country he's talking about. And why are we already great? Well, it is not just because of the size of our economy or the size of our military. It is because of our generosity. It is because of our ingenuity. It is because of the diversity of our country. I think our diversity is one of our strongest assets. This morning I laid out my plan for more national service so that more people of all ages can serve America, serve their communities. Because America is great when you really strip it all down, because America is good. And we can't ever forget that. I have laid out specific plans about how we're going to make our country even greater. I've actually got a book here with Tim Kaine, my running mate. You know, I have this old-fashioned idea. If I'm asking you for your vote for president, I should tell you what I'm going to do. I shouldn't just talk in generalities and use rhetoric and never answer questions about what we can do, but to lay out how we're going to make the economy work for everyone, not just those at the top. That means new jobs with rising incomes, jobs in infrastructure, jobs in advanced manufacturing, in innovation and technology, and yes, clean, renewable energy jobs. My opponent's only infrastructure plan is to build a wall. I loved it. He went down to Mexico and he choked. He didn't even raise it. He's been going around telling people for months, we're going to build a wall, we're going to make Mexico pay for it. So he's sitting with the president of Mexico and he doesn't even bring it up. He finds it a lot easier to insult women than to talk to the president of Mexico about building a wall. I mean, really, who gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning to engage in a Twitter attack against a former Miss Universe? I mean, he hurled as many insults as he could. Really, why does he do things like that? I mean, his latest Twitter meltdown is unhinged, even for him. It proves yet again that he is temperamentally unfit to be president and commander-in-chief. I have said it before and I'll say it again. A man who can be provoked by a tweet should not be anywhere near the nuclear codes. So I'm going to keep talking about what we can do together after this election. Getting those new jobs. And I'll tell you, another area I want to emphasize is small business. As I said the other night, my dad was a small businessman. He made a lot of sacrifice and he worked really hard to give us a good, solid middle-class life. I'm really proud of that. And I'm sure glad he never got a contract from Donald Trump, who stiffs small businesses, doesn't pay his bills to people like my dad. But we need to do more to get small business started and growing here in Broward County, throughout South Florida, across the state and beyond. So as we grow the economy, we also have to make it fairer. I want prosperity to reach everyone, not just the privileged few.
All right,
So
that's
we
Hillary
are
Clinton
gonna
in
raise
Coral
the minimum
Gables,
wage
Florida,
because if
making
you
her
work
case against Donald
full-time,
Trump
you
using
should not
Exhibit
still
A,
be in
his tweets from this morning. I'm joined now by our political panel, USA Today columnist Kirsten Powers and senior editor at The Federalist, Molly Hemingway. First, however, let's go to CNN's Jason Carroll in New York. Jason, we just heard Clinton react to that Trump tweet storm. What exactly, for our viewers who are not informed, what exactly is she talking about?
Right, and she repeated, Jake, as you heard there, a criticism that she's used before, basically saying a man who can be provoked by a tweet should not be near the nuclear codes. What she's talking about is this whole sort of Twitter storm that's been going sort of back and forth involving a former Miss Universe, Alicia Machado. As you know, Clinton brought up this name during the last debate, basically accusing Trump of being sexist and racist, when he referred to this former Miss Universe as a Miss Piggy, also a Miss Housekeeper in reference to her ethnicity and to her weight. Well, Donald Trump, a man who, as we all know, likes to tweet, up very early this morning tweeting the following about Alicia Machado and Hillary Clinton, saying first, wow, crooked Hillary was duped and used by my worst Miss U. Hillary floated her as an angel without checking her past, which is terrible. Again, very early this morning he was up doing this. Followed that up with another tweeting, did crooked Hillary help disgusting check out sex tape and past Alicia M. become a U.S. citizen so she could use her in the debate, despite the fact that no such sex tape exists. Trump, for his part, firing back at all of those people who've been criticizing him for getting up early and tweeting. Just this afternoon, Jake, he tweeted again saying, for those few people knocking me for tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning, at least you know I will be there awake to answer the call. Obviously, there are a number of those in the GOP who would prefer that Trump stop tweeting and start focusing more on the issues and attacking Hillary Clinton on what they call are her weak spots, the economy, jobs, those emails, and her trustworthiness. But Donald Trump is his own man. It seems like he just has a hard time putting down that phone. Jake?
All right, Jason Carroll, we have a panel here chomping at the bit to talk about it all. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Has the right attitude, that we're stronger together in business.